It sounds like the plot of a political thriller. Dozens of lawmakers fleeing their own state in the dead of night. A governor, furious, dispatching state troopers to hunt them down. And a Speaker of the House authorizing their arrest. Well, this isn't a movie. This is Texas, August 2025. What happens when legislators refuse to show up for work to stop a bill they call a threat to democracy? And what happens when the governor says, arrest them? This is the story of a high-stakes fight for political power where the battle lines are drawn not in the Capitol, but across state lines. So let's break down exactly what went down. On August 3rd and 4th, 2025, over 50 Democratic members of the Texas House of Representatives packed their bags, boarded planes, and left the state. Their destinations, states like Illinois and New York, anywhere but Texas. Why? To deny a quorum. In simple terms, the Texas House needs a certain number of its members present to legally conduct business. Specifically, 2/3 of its 150 members, which is 100 representatives. By leaving, the Democrats dropped the number present well below that threshold, effectively hitting the brakes on the entire legislative process. The Republican-controlled House did not take this lightly. On August 4th, in a dramatic session, the remaining members voted 85-6 to issue civil arrest warrants for their absent colleagues. The order was clear: find the missing lawmakers and compel them to return to the House floor. The state's top leadership immediately escalated the situation. Governor Greg Abbott, calling the move a dereliction of duty, officially ordered the Texas Department of Public Safety, the state troopers, to locate, arrest, and return the missing lawmakers to the Capitol. He argued that other critical issues like disaster relief funding were being held up. Attorney General Ken Paxton echoed that sentiment, releasing a statement calling the Democratic lawmakers cowardly and giving his full support for their immediate arrest. The message from Texas's Republican leadership was unified and uncompromising. But here's the crucial legal catch. As dramatic as an arrest warrant sounds, these are civil warrants, not criminal ones. Their purpose isn't to punish a crime, but to physically compel a person to fulfill a duty, in this case, showing up to work. And most importantly, these warrants are only enforceable within the state of Texas. Legal experts from across the political spectrum were quick to point this out. Texas law enforcement has no authority to arrest anyone, lawmaker or not, in Illinois, New York, or any other state. As one expert at Democracy Docket put it, you can't compel lawmakers to return across state lines. So while the warrants carry immense symbolic weight in Texas, once a lawmaker's plane was in the air, they were legally in the clear. So why take such a drastic step? What bill is so important that it would trigger a multi-state political crisis? The answer is redistricting. Every 10 years, states redraw their political maps for state and congressional elections based on new census data. In 2025, Texas Republicans, with reported backing from President Donald Trump, have put forward a new map that Democrats claim is an extreme gerrymander. Democrats and voting rights groups argue the map is specifically designed to dilute the voting power of minority communities and Democratic voters in an attempt to secure 5 new safe Republican seats in the U.S. House of Representatives ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. This isn't just about Texas politics, it's about control of Congress. If this all feels strangely familiar, it's because it is. Quorum breaking is a time-honored, if controversial, tradition in Texas politics. In 2003, a group of Democratic senators known as the Texas 11 fled to New Mexico to block, you guessed it, a Republican redistricting plan. And more recently in 2021, House Democrats fled to Washington, D.C. to temporarily block a restrictive voting bill. This 2025 walkout is the third such exodus in just over 2 decades, showing just how deep the partisan divide in Texas has become. But this time, the fight is quickly going national. The Texas Democrats' actions have been met with support from blue state leaders. Governors like Kathy Hochul in New York and Gavin Newsom in California have signaled they won't sit idly by. Reports suggest they are considering their own aggressive, retaliatory redistricting measures in their states to counteract potential Republican gains in places like Texas. Political analysts are calling this the start of a national redistricting arms race. The gloves are off, and the idea of nonpartisan mapmaking seems to be collapsing under the weight of raw partisan power grabs. The lawmakers who fled Texas are not staying silent. From their out-of-state locations, they're making their case to the national media. Representative Jean Wu of Houston pushed back against the governor's claims that they were abandoning their duties. Quote, "We will not allow disaster relief to be held hostage for a partisan power grab that silences millions of Texas voters. This is about protecting the foundation of our democracy." And when asked about Governor Abbott's threat to have them arrested and brought back to the Capitol, Houston Representative Jolanda Jones was blunt. Quote, "Respectfully, he's making up some shit. He knows he cannot arrest us. He knows that his authority stops at the Texas state line." This leaves us with a high-stakes standoff. So what happens next? There are few possibilities. First, could the redistricting still pass? Yes. If the Democrats stay away, Governor Abbott can simply keep calling special session after special session. It becomes a test of endurance. Eventually, the Democrats will have to come home, and the vote could be held then. Second, expect a flood of legal challenges. No matter what map eventually passes, it will almost certainly be challenged in court, kicking off a years-long battle over its constitutionality. And finally, the Texas model, both the aggressive gerrymandering and the quorum-breaking response, could become a playbook for other states, further polarizing the nation's political landscape. So here we are, a conflict that pits state law against political protest, the raw power of a governor against the constitutional limits of his authority, and the very definition of democracy against pure partisan control. The Democrats who fled Texas see themselves as political refugees, protecting the vote. The Republicans who remained see them as fugitives, abandoning their oath. This redraw fight in Texas is more than just a headline. It's a window into the future of American politics, where the norms are breaking down and every tool, no matter how extreme, is on the table. The question we're left with is this a temporary flashpoint in a divided nation, or a permanent turning point for how the game is played? What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. Is this a legitimate form of protest or a dereliction of duty? And don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories shaping our world. Thanks for watching.